Welcome to a special edition of the Modern Hotelier, hospitality's most engaged podcast. I'm David Millili.
I'm Steve Carran.
And I'm Jon Bumhoffer.
Today we are going to do a looking back and looking forward, midway point of 2025.
So I'm going to kick it off here, guys. What was something so far this year, whether it was a moment or maybe a podcast interview that we did, that was one of your favorites?
Well, for me, I don't have a specific, but I think what was just great this year, even just recently, we were here in Chicago with the State Pineapple Group, just the laughter and kind of the fun that not only we have, I think, as a group, but that our guests have and the people that we're interviewing, or whether we're in person or at a trade show. So for me, I'll say it's been the laughter.
Yeah, for me, laughter's great. I thought our hotel experience tour of the Lafayette was a highlight for me. I think just seeing a property of that uniqueness was something that was really cool. I've never seen anything like it. And not only was it just unique, it was like very well done. The staff was great. The food and beverage outlets were awesome. So that was just a highlight for me overall.
Yeah, I'm with you. Hotel experiences, I'm just going to go all of them. Just because it's so awesome to see how properties are different, what makes these properties unique, and also the teams that work at these properties, how they're different, but still showing amazing hospitality to us.
So we've attended a number of trade shows and events this year. What stood out most at those events for you, Steve?
Yeah, so I think they've all been great. We've gone to quite a few, BITAC, ILC, High Tech, Direct Booking Summit. One of the highlights for me, I thought BITAC was really exciting. That was my first time attending. And I'm a huge Top Gun fan, and there was a Tom Cruise impersonator there, which made an awesome event for me, and it was a blast. David, what about you?
Yeah, I think for me, we've talked about it in the past, but the kind of the COVID hangover is 100% over. So everybody's back. All these shows are very well attended. I think we've been to one event this year where we're like, this event, there's not a lot of people here. There's not a lot going on. There's not a lot of after parties or things of that nature. So for me, I feel it's just, we're back.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I think what stood out for me the most was just the fact that all these events are great, but they're also different. You got High Tech, which is a massive, huge event. There's a lot going on, a lot to see. You've got things like BITAC that are very small, very intimate, but are very focused. And then, we're at ILC here, and this is a very focused, fun, unique event too. And I think they all have their place, and there's something for everyone. So I think that's kind of what I took away from these events is like, there's something for everyone in the industry to go to, and there's value there for everybody.
So what were a behind the scenes, or what was a behind the scenes moment for you that stood out, Jon?
There's a lot of behind the scenes because I'm mostly behind the scenes. So that's kind of my
your
world.
lane, yeah.
Yeah. So I think doing the hotel experiences, I don't think I can't recall like one moment, but just all of the moving pieces that go into it, working with people behind the scenes, and like to your point, the laughter of just like kind of between the takes when you're kind of figuring things out and you're getting to interact with the people at hotels, and really getting to know them on a personal level outside of like the on-camera stuff. I think that's the cool stuff for me. So, Steve, did you have anything? I kind of copped out there and didn't give a specific. Do you have anything?
Give a broad answer.
Yeah. Do you have anything? Do you have anything more specific?
So I think with the hotel experience episodes we've done, the food and beverage portion has been my favorite. It's just been awesome. Like at Quixote, chef fed us more than we could handle, and people were looking at us like, who are these guys? The chef is bringing out food and multiple portions of everything. Tower 23, amazing seafood. State Pineapple, which is coming out. That was incredible. Again, just kept bringing out food. And it's always great to see the behind the scenes and see how things are made. And, also get to know the chefs on a personal level. I think they all have really interesting backgrounds. What about you, David?
So for me, sorry, Jon, you weren't there, but Indianapolis was a lot of work in High Tech this year for us. And a group of us got stuck at the airport bar hoping that we could get out of Indianapolis. And we posted the picture of who was there, and somebody commented and misspelled the word team. And Steve was laughing so hard that I think everybody in the bar bar thought that maybe a wild animal got let loose or something. So for me, that was one of those moments where you're exhausted, you just want to get home, and you're like, but thank God I'm sitting here with some great people, just having a drink, and I'll weather it out. But that was it for me.
Absolutely. So has there been a guest that's really surprised you guys that we've had on this year? David, what about you?
So Chef Jose from Quixote was my guy, because I think as we go through and we interview a lot of these people, it's all just about hospitality. And sometimes we get into people's lives and we don't. I mean, he's talking about his grandmother and his father dying and selling rice pudding to pay bills. And just like you said, the way he took care of us the night before, it's kind of tough not to love the guy. So it was just, that was my favorite, I would just say, moment with a guest.
Yeah.
For me, the guest that most surprised me or the episode was probably Ben Webster, Hotel Marcel. Just because I didn't really know what to expect. That was the zero emission or carbon free episode, and I learned a lot on that one. I was like, a lot of things I didn't even know about, and it was just a kind of an eye opener and something that I think is going to be trending forward. And to see a hotel do it on such a high level was really cool, and I learned a lot from that episode. What do you have, Steve?
So I think one of my favorites was Colin Hughes so far from Virgin Voyages, our first cruise guest. The cruise industry is doing very, very well. And, I don't know a ton about the cruise industry, so it was kind of fun to get a different perspective of, that industry, how it's so similar to hotels, but, it's got a lot of differences as well. So that one was a fun time for me.
Yeah. As producers, hosts of this podcast, The Modern Hotelier, what is one thing you've learned this year that's made the show better, you think?
I think I've realized as we've kind of expanded, we're not just a podcast. We also launched a media company as well. The organization that goes into it makes everything better. The more organized you are, the better production, whether that's the podcast or the hotel experiences episodes, just makes everything just flow better. So it's one thing I'm always working to be better on, is being more organized. What about you, David?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. Organization. I mean, we haven't killed each other, and we've been in some pretty, we did one day in San Diego where we were at 3 different properties doing 3 different kind of shoots in essence. And I think, like Steve said, just the organization and just this consistent trying to get better and produce high quality. John?
For me, it's the whole hospitality mindset of leaning into the human element always makes the content better. Like if we just focus on the people in front of us and their stories, I think that's just going to deliver a better podcast, a better result, more value for the audience. And I think that's something I want to continue to do, is just like focus on, like, being organized helps us to focus on the people because we got that stuff taken care of. Yeah. So, yeah.
All right, guys. So now we're going to look ahead. We're going to see what we think about what's up and coming. So what are you guys most excited about for the second half, whether it be hotel experience, interviews, events? John?
Second half, we've got a couple of trips coming up, but maybe, I know, Steve, you might say this one. So Hotel Polaris in Denver or in Colorado Springs, that one, just looking at the pictures of the property, everything there, I'm really excited about going there. I haven't been to Colorado in a couple of years, so I'm excited to get back out there for that.
Yeah. I think, I'm kind of go on the same boat. The hotel experience episodes, they're just so fun to film. We're all in person. It's great to see you guys, aside from behind a screen. So excited to have a home game in Colorado, but excited to go to Miami. We've been talking about Miami for quite a bit. And, we recently talked about going to the great cheese state of Wisconsin. So if we can make it up there, your boy's going to be right at home. What about you, David?
I'm probably most excited about what I don't know, because we don't know, we didn't know, sometimes we find out 60 days out that we just got invited to go to an event, or we, something pops up and we get contacted and they want to do something on property, do an experience. And so for me, I'm kind of most excited about what I don't know is coming up.
I love that. So guys, I got to ask you, if you could have one person on the podcast, who would it be? David, what do you think?
This is not true. I'm going to give a run to it, but Chit. So if you don't know, go to CHIT on Instagram. But anyway, I would like to have, now I'll get serious. I would actually like to have Jeff Lurie, who's the owner of the Eagles. Obviously, I'm a Eagles fan, most of you know that. Because of 2 reasons. Because I think it's amazing, this idea of owning a sports franchise. and how long he's owned it, and him coming from entertainment and film is where he originated. And also, he has an autistic brother. They've raised millions of dollars for autism. So I kind of like this, not only because I have an autism connection, but it's my team, but I would love to just sit down with the guy and just kind of listen about how he feels about his team. So that's it, John.
For me, it's interesting. In hospitality, there'd be a few people, but I think he's all over the place these days, and people know who he is. Rick Rubin would be somebody because as a producer, he has no technical skill. Right. His whole value he brings is being kind of that guidepost or that the audience perspective, and I think that'd be really interesting to hear. His take on how that plays out in hospitality. I think that'd be really interesting to see the parallels there. So I think that would be cool.
Have you read his book yet?
Yeah, I have it. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's incredible. The guy's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I would have to go with my guy, David Grutman from Groot Hospitality. He comes from more of the nightclub side of hospitality, and now he has a hotel as well, the Good Time Hotel. Seems like just a really fun guy to hang out with, and I'd love to hear how he's incorporated his past experiences into the hotel side of things.
So what's one goal that you have for the show or for yourselves even to make things better before the year ends?
I think the one I'm excited about is continuing to think outside of the box. We started as a podcast, media company, the hotel experience episodes, and we have been, talking about different ideas, how we can constantly keep changing, evolving, and growing the media and podcast company. And we don't really have any boundaries, which is exciting.
Yeah, I think for me, it's when we've already done a lot, but it's really just really striving for high quality and also and being creative and not trying to just do what's the norm. And I think that's even coming out of the hotel experiences, which is, a Cribs, MTV Cribs style theme. I mean, I think we're kind of setting a new bar for what really hospitality media or podcasts are doing in this space, and I'd like us to continue to push that.
Yeah, on a similar vein, I think the same way as like a technical creative, I'm always striving, whether that's the gear or how we're doing things, to always make things look and sound great, beautiful, that match the places we're in. But also, like you said, it can be easy once you get something that's relatively high quality to just kind of stay in that place. So my goal is to keep kind of trying new things and experimenting to see what is great, what we're excited about, but also what the audience is excited about too. So
the final question for us as a group is going to be, what would somebody listening to this be surprised to learn about pulling together a podcast?
I think that one of the most surprising things, and one I tell people all the time when they ask me about what's it like to start podcasts, it's especially if you have guests,
right? The
scheduling component is the hardest part of it all, honestly. Especially when you have two hosts and a producer and then another guest, it's a lot. It's hard to schedule people consistently, reliably, and so that's a lot of our back and forth. It's just scheduling stuff. So I think that's one of the biggest things. It's not the most glamorous, but it is something that's surprising. Usually people are like, oh yeah, I never thought about that. Yeah. But yeah, what about for you?
I agree with you. I mean, the scheduling, that's one thing, as we've been in person more this year. Definitely something to keep in mind, but just how rewarding it is, to be honest with you. Working with you guys and, growing as not only a company, but seeing how far we've come in 3 years, really excited about the next 30 years and where we'll be then. And, just being around so many great people in hospitality. And, that's our job, is getting to know people in hospitality and bringing their personality to life. And I love when people leave our podcast and they're like, I was so stressed out before this. You guys made me comfortable. And it was just a phenomenal experience. And when people say that, I'm just like, that's what we're going for.
Yeah, for me, I think what I would tell people is that at the end of the day, it's hard. I mean, people don't realize that it can be mentally exhausting. I mean, we're worried about who's the guest going to be, what are the questions going to be, like Steve said, are they comfortable? The lighting, the camera angles, getting to the next, if we're doing an event, getting to the next booth, or, we're doing a Cribs episode and we're running around like crazy and we're like, what are we doing on time? How are we doing? And did we get the right shot? Is this going to end up looking good? Which Sean always makes us look good. But for me, that's it. I think people just don't know that it's hard. And I think people don't know that how important it is to care about what you're doing, especially when you're doing something like this. So, all right, guys. Well, that does it for another episode of the Modern Hotelier, hospitality's most engaged podcast. Whether you're watching or listening, we hope you continue with us not only through the rest of this year, but onward. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You made it to the end of the Modern Hotelier. Thanks for watching or listening. The Modern Hotelier is produced by Modern Hotelier Media. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube, or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you know a good guest, sponsor, or have media needs, feel free to reach out to us at hello@themodernhotelier.com. Thanks and have a great day.